Hey guys, Stephen Altrogi here. Thanks for taking a few minutes to watch this video. I hope you find it to be beneficial. So today I want to talk about this thing that I recently came across several months ago. This isn't the first time I've seen it, but it's the concept of a spiritual gifts test. In other words, you take this test and you answer all these questions, kind of like a career assessment test, and then that test shows you what your spiritual gifts are supposed to be. Now, I saw a booklet. This thing was pretty big and it had like 100+ questions, all to help you identify what your spiritual gifts are. And when I saw it, I just felt like, man, this seems really, really complicated. Does finding my spiritual gifts really need to take an hour and a half of my time? I mean, I've got things to do. I've got Netflix to watch. I need to see the Justice League, which I did see last night. Not that great. Acting was pretty bad. But anyway, here's the deal. I don't think Scripture makes it that complicated. In fact, Scripture makes finding your spiritual gifts really, really easy. Here's how you do it. 2 questions to answer. Question number 1, what are you good at? That's the first and most important question. God has given you unique, special gifts, and He has made you to use those gifts for His glory to bless other people. Some people, they can just serve and serve and serve. I have some friends like that who they can serve tirelessly. I can't do that. I'm pretty weak and limited. And so Scripture talks about the gift of service. I think that's partly what it's talking about. Maybe you've been given the gift of generosity. I just know some people who are so incredibly generous by nature. That's the gift of generosity. Some people are outstanding leaders. God has made them outstanding leaders, and that's a way they can serve God's people, the gift of leadership. My dad, in particular, is one of the most merciful people that I know. He's just gracious and merciful toward people. Scripture talks about the gift of mercy. It's not that complicated. God's given you gifts. What are they? And just start there. Start there. The second question, and this is also a really easy one, is what do you enjoy doing? What things has God given you that you really take a lot of pleasure in? For example, one of the things that God has made me good at and I take a lot of pleasure in is using words. And so I've always been pretty good at writing. It's just one of those skills that comes naturally to me. I've always been able to speak relatively clearly in public. And so any opportunities I have either to write for the glory of God or speak for the glory of God, I just believe those are spiritual gifts God has given me that I want to use to serve other people. I know other people who they love leading, whether that's leading worship, leading a small group, leading, a church even. That's the gift of leadership. Some people just enjoy pouring money into works of God and seeing them prosper. That's generosity. Some people just have a passion to serve, just in any way. Scripture talks about the gift of helps. Honestly, that's kind of a weird sounding gift to me. It sounds like one of those things that Paul was like, there's people who just have the gift of helps. No, I think that's probably talking about people who have a massive capacity to serve and love doing it. Some people love cooking meals for people who are sick. That could be the gift of helps. So question number 1, what are you good at? What has God made you good at? Question number 2, what do you love doing? What has God put a passion in you to do? Where those two things intersect, that's a good indicator of what your gifts are. That's a good indicator of the spiritual gifts God has given you. You don't need to take a long test. You don't need to spend hours and hours doing some sort of introspective assessment and evaluating what you've had success in the past. Yeah, those things can be helpful, but don't kill yourself doing it. Just ask yourself, what am I good at? What do I love doing? It's the simplest, easiest way to figure out your spiritual gifts. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Leave a comment below. Subscribe. Tell me what you think. Do you think that there's other, more effective ways of finding your spiritual gifts? Looking forward to hearing from you.